AS College Football Show. This is the Week 5 edition of the show. I'm John Martin, as always, joined by the great Eddie Walls, who is going to have a best bet for you, as he always does. We'll get to that in just a minute, as well as it's a loaded slate. I mean, this is probably going to be one of the best college football slates across the board here. So we'll break all the big games down here in just a minute. First, I want to tell you, odds logic. If you don't have the odds logic odds screen and you're betting, I don't know what you're doing. You can get 7 days free right now and 50% off the first month and a $250 credit to any RAS product. We've got the link below in the description, so make sure you take advantage of that here on the College Football Show. Without further ado, my friend, again, good to have you back.
Thank you.
You know, we know what the people want. I mean, the people have come for one reason, and that's to hear the Eddie Walls best bet of Week 5.
Yeah, I'm 4-0. I don't think I'm going to be 100% on the year, but I like this one. I like game number 162, Iowa State under 49.5. A few things working here. First of all, I don't think that Arizona people realize that they made two incredibly great coordinator hires in the offseason, but the special one was Danny Gonzalez, who I think is actually running the show for Arizona. The fact that they're playing so much slower, they're running the ball at a tremendous clip this year. They're not letting Fafita get ahead of himself and throw a lot of iffy picks, and they don't really have any outstanding wide receivers any longer. On the flip side, Iowa State has been a great under for many years. Matt Campbell would love to get this game in the mud, try to limit explosives by Arizona, vice versa. Both offensive line and defensive lines match up really well against each other versus the run. Slow tempo for Iowa State, obviously, always. And yeah, I mean, I think 49.5 is far too high. I mean, we're talking, you're going to have to dodge 7 touchdowns and a field goal. That's a lot to ask from two teams who really haven't shown a propensity to score a ton of points and limit explosives extremely well. You're not going to have a lot of explosives on the 3-3-5 that Gonzalez runs. Both quarterbacks are, I mean, I think Becht is definitely an exceptional quarterback, but he doesn't have the wide receivers of last year. I think that people are still using priors. Everybody wants Iowa State to be more of an over team. I just don't think that Campbell likes playing that kind of game. I think that he loves those kind of Kansas State matchup in week 0, the Iowa game. This is a team that's built on defense, and that's just who he is. So yeah, 49.5 was really good.
Well, you could see now that it is basically 48.5 market wide. So there you have it. Arizona, Iowa State under 49.5 was the best bet for our friend Eddie Walls in Week 5. All right, let's get into, again, what should be just an absolutely awesome college football slate, starting with tomorrow night and an RAS release. Florida, it says Florida, I mean Florida State. Florida State at Virginia, with Florida State being -7 in a total here of 60.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to talk about in this game. First of all, it's our real first chance to see what Florida State is made of against a Virginia team who I'm not really sold that they have a defense. I know that they made a humongous upgrade on offense. Morris looks like everything that they paid for. They got some really good wide receivers from Notre Dame. The defense is spotty. They've given up a touchdown pass of at least 60 yards in every single game played this year. They got involved in a shootout against NC State, came up short at the very end of the game there. Florida State spent extremely well in the portal. I liked everything that they did. There's also something that's very telling here is Virginia's All-American center, who's an NFL prospect, is likely out. So that definitely works out really, really well for Florida State. The big thing that I think that I didn't recognize and most of the market didn't recognize is that Florida State got Gus Malzahn. That's automatically going to take your offense and move it to really special levels. And then they get Nebraska's white defensive coordinator, and he seemed very, very special, specifically after we watched Nebraska the last couple of weeks on defense. Florida State seems to be trending in the right direction. And I read a very interesting quote by Norvell of Florida State, and he said, hey, we're going to run it up if we get a chance. He was asked about why he kind of piloted on Kent State last week. And he said, nobody stopped them from piling it up on us last year.
Yep.
So, you know, if you like the over and you like Florida State, you really can't go wrong with quotes like that. I expect there to be points on both sides, but I do think Florida State is the far more talented team, and RAS did release Florida State at -6.5, I believe. Definitely no disagreement from me.
Yeah, that was kind of how he played at Memphis too. I mean, he's always the guy that has like this disposition to, if I can score 60, I'm going to score 60. So
right.
When I like to lay points with the Mike Norvells and the Kurt Signettis of the world. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like those are the guys. Those are the guys I want to lay with. Right. All right. Moving right along here. Game number 175. LSU at Ole Miss. Ole Miss hanging around as a -1.5 point favorite with a total here of 56.
I don't have anything in this game personally. I'm really conflicted by LSU. Their defense seems absolutely amazing. But then again, we are basing that off of Clemson, who might not have an offense. And then we are basing that off of Florida, who definitely doesn't have an offense. So, I mean, my numbers show Ole Miss slightly, pretty much right on the number. I've bet Ole Miss every single week over. I didn't feel like this was the best spot to bet over with. If I were to bet anything, it would be Ole Miss in this spot. I still don't trust that they have a defense, but I do trust that they have an offense that can score. Did you have anything here, John?
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay. Hey, no spoilers.
Yeah. Right. I mean, the real best bet comes at the end of the show.
I understand. I got it.
There's a warm up, and then there's the main event. So
I got you. You got to put me on my place. I apologize.
But yeah, I couldn't really disagree with anything that you said here. So nothing for Eddie in that game. Should be a fun one though. I do expect fireworks, no question about it in that game. Moving right along, USC at Illinois with USC a 7-point road favorite and a total here of 61.
Well, it's absolutely crazy, this line. What would this line be a week ago? I think about like stuff like this constantly. I think it would probably be Illinois +2.5, but the situation has changed dramatically when you lose an All-American cornerback. You didn't have 6 or 7 of your defensive back starters at Indiana. You say that they're better this week. I don't know how that's possible. On the flip side, USC playing a game at 9 o'clock in the morning, their time. Body clocks are probably off there. I bet over at a number that's no longer available. I wouldn't bet the over at this number, actually. But there's something to be said about USC secondary. Last year, they were kind of built on defense. I don't trust this defense this year at all. Michigan State had 23 yards per pass attempt, pass completion last week. They're back into shootout mode, which is very scary because Lincoln Riley is much better when they are in shootout mode. I have nothing on the side and nothing at this current total. If it were to get down to 59.5, I would play the over again. There's just a part of me that doesn't like backing teams that lost by 51 points the week prior and have a lot of questionable injuries facing an offense that can basically score on any given play. But 7 is absolutely wild in my opinion. But it might be wild, but I'm not exactly jumping in the fire to get there.
We've got a couple of questions here in the YouTube chat. Sure. Let's just kind of work through some. DT plus the point says thoughts on North Texas.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're maybe the most talented G5 team that is still kind of possibly undervalued. Now it's starting to get a little inflated. They have played 2 overtimes. Their defense is really, really good, though. I know that they gave up a lot of points to Army. That's easy to do, especially when you're trading points in an Army game. It sounds like maybe their defense is not good. It's very hard to prepare for a service academy team that also can kind of throw the ball, which they did in the second half against UNT. And UNT was comfortably ahead in the first half, gave up the lead, etc. We released under 64. It's fine. I mean, South Alabama's missing their starting center. Their quarterback has a case of the yips, it almost looks like. It feels like this game would be, if it was if it was like 2 weeks ago, we'd probably be jumping at 64 to bet over. But when you're missing a center and your quarterback for South Alabama can't seem to hit any open wide receivers, I think that North Texas also has the opportunity to take the air out of the ball in the second half. It all made sense to me.
A couple other games before we move along.
I'm sorry. He asked about Memphis.
No, he didn't ask about Memphis. He was from Memphis.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool. Got it.
It's my cousin. I got to get my Memphis cousin on here. Andy says, "Hey Eddie, any opinion on Cal or UCLA?"
Yeah, both. Let's see. So first of all, what would the number be in Cal this time last week? They go to San Diego State and get absolutely blown out, which was crazy. But I mean, if you look at the box score, it's even crazier because I don't even know if SDSU was like impressive in that game. I think Cal's quarterback finally became the pumpkin that all freshman quarterbacks are going to be at some point or another. I wanted to play Cal at one point or another in the week. I'm not sure if I will, though. I don't like that travel spot, flying 5,000 miles to play a team that seems to score a lot but doesn't have a defense. I don't know. Very short sample size. Complete opposite opinion of what I thought Boston College would be 4 weeks ago compared to now. A little confused by both teams. So likely a pass there. UCLA, I played under in that game earlier in the week. I still don't even mind it. I just think the Northwestern is just a very, very tough team. They run the ball okay, but they lost their starting running back. Their offensive line is good. Their defensive line is good. Nico isn't good. He doesn't have any wide receivers to throw to. The lack of explosives there at UCLA concerned me. I do like backing teams with new head coaches. So I did consider Northwestern. I was hoping for a 7 or a 7.5. I don't think I'm going to get it. Likely a pass at current numbers, but I don't know. Even 45 seems kind of high. I mean, Tulane and Northwestern was a 23-3 game. Oregon, with all their firepower, couldn't get over the total with Northwestern. I think Northwestern is one of those teams that's really built on defense, and they can't really enter the transfer portal and get big names. So they're going to build upon what their head coach is good at, which is building really good defenses. And there's probably no bigger coaching upgrade, regardless of who the coach is, for UCLA, because I think that they had easily the worst head coach in college football up until last week.
That's right. He if you faded it, you made some money, but you only got 3 weeks out of it.
Right.
I hate nothing good lasts forever, Eddie, as they say. All right, moving right along here. Oregon at Penn State. Penn State laying 3.5 at home, total of 52.5.
Yeah, I laid this. I laid it quick. It was the first bet I made this week, I think.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, like, what are we going off of here? Like, just 3 weeks ago, we were talking about Oregon might not be a bowl team. We released under 10.5 on the under. Preseason, this number was 10. So let me get this straight. So Oregon beats the hell out of Montana State, Oklahoma State, and Oregon State, and Northwestern on the road where they didn't cover. They're taking a freshman quarterback, essentially 4,000 miles to a whiteout, and you're going to discount Penn State for not trying basically against Nevada and FCS and Villanova. They ran the ball 17 times against FIU. They were working on an intermediate pass game. I'm pretty sure that you're going to get the 2 All-American running backs to carry the ball more than 19 times. I mean, preseason, I was like 7.5, 8. I don't know how we got to like everybody loving Oregon in this spot. I do realize that Franklin never beats top 10 teams. Is Oregon a top 10 team? I mean, maybe. Their front seven's really impressive. They lost their best wide receiver in the spring. It's like everybody just forgot that Oregon was like supposed to be this great fade, and Penn State was possibly a national championship winner in 3 weeks of sample sizes. So, yeah, I like Penn State.
You laid 3 or 3.5?
I laid 3, but I'd lay 3.5 too. I mean, I made it 6. So,
well, aren't you special? You just laying 3 out here, and everybody else has 3.5.
You'll get a 3 somewhere by Saturday. I mean, everybody loves this team. I mean, everybody thinks that Lanning is the best coach in the world, and he might be. But I just think it's very, very strange how we've changed our perspective on so many teams and short sample sizes that really, on the Penn State side, it really doesn't matter. Like, did they ever feel like they were going to lose to Nevada, FIU, or Villanova? No.
Right.
Did they work on a lot of stuff during those games? Possibly. Were they trying to win by margin? I mean, they called a timeout with 30 seconds left to try to cover against Villanova. That was crazy. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you were to just go by talent grades, I mean, all of a sudden Aller's not any good, and Katron Allen's not any good, and the offensive line that was rated 4th in the nation isn't any good. I don't know. It's weird.
All right. A couple more here before we call it a show. And we get to the real best bet. I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah. I mean, we're waiting for that. I'm just talking to myself over here.
All right. Alabama at Georgia. Georgia laying 3 at home, total of 53.
Yeah, I played the over in this game. A couple of things. First of all, this was like a complete shootout last year. I don't know if these teams are capable of doing a shootout necessarily, but I did see Georgia really, really struggle to stop Tennessee in their pass game. I did see Alabama have a really, really hard time with Castellanos running the ball. Well, Stetson Bennett is a good runner. I've seen that in the short sample size that he's played. And I don't think that Georgia's that impressive on their D line compared to most years. I think their offensive line is really, really special. I think the wide receivers for Alabama are really, really special. I think the both secondaries are pretty special, but I just don't think that we're going to see a lot of running from two teams that can't, run the ball with the running backs for Georgia, even though Mike Bobo tries 30 times a game, which makes no sense. And then you didn't go out and get offensive coordinator Grubb from Alabama to run the ball. So there's going to be too much passing and possibly too many possessions for me to get this total to 52, 52 and a half, 53.
Got it. And then I'm going to get one more comment in here, maybe a couple more before we get to the last game. Any opinion on Auburn, Texas A&M?
Yeah, I have lots of opinions on this game, and I haven't done anything, and I've gone back and forth to why. The starting center for Auburn is out. I just saw Jackson Arnold, who isn't a quarterback who throws the ball very well, regardless of the fact that he has 3 5-star wide receivers that will all end up in the NFL. And you still have a coach in Freeze who prefers to run the ball and run his quarterback and let him get hit 22 times a game. And then I just saw Texas A&M go on the road to Notre Dame, who might not have a defense, but still gave up a lot of points. So it causes indecision for me. I'm right at this number, but my heart of hearts says that I'm missing something by not betting Texas A&M, to be quite honest with you. Second SEC road game in a row. Jackson Arnold was so scared to throw the ball and also so scared to get hit. I don't know how the mental fortitude carries over to this next game. And I'm just honestly, I'm not sold that Auburn has an incredible defense. I think that Oklahoma could have scored a lot more points in that game, to be quite honest. I don't know if Oklahoma is a very good offense, but I just felt they left some points on the board.
And then I've gotten this one a couple of times, so I'm just going to put it on. Notre Dame and Arkansas.
Yeah, if you would have told me that Notre Dame would be laying 4 this time of year 3 weeks ago at Arkansas, I think the game of the year line was like 7.5 or 8 or something like that. I'd have said you're crazy. I'd also think that you're crazy if you bet the under in any Notre Dame game right now. But I can't get to this number because I still have preseason numbers that show Notre Dame having 6 NFL players on their defense. I can't really explain why their defense is bad. I don't know if they just spent more time and more money on the offense. It's inexplainable to me. I'm at 63 on the total, so it's a pass for me. And I really don't. I mean, this is Notre Dame season. Let's face it. They're going to have a hard time getting in the playoff as it is. They lose this game, it's over. They're much, much more talented than Arkansas, but they were much more talented than Texas A&M and arguably played better and are more talented than Miami. So I don't know. I feel like the price is probably properly rated.
Okay, and then finally, Ohio State at Washington. Ohio State laying 8 on the road, total of 52.
Yeah, I mean, this is like really telling of how the market has changed over the years. I think 5 years ago, this would have opened like 13 or 11 or something like that. And it took money like right away at 10, which is surprising to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Washington staff. I like their quarterback. I love their running back. The one wide receiver is special. The talent level here is crazy disparity. Like Ohio State has something like 17 blue chip starters. I mean, it's pretty wild that we're at 7.5 and 8. I mean, if we get a 7, I'm probably going to have to get involved. It's not exactly the side that I want, but it's definitely a number that I like. I just, I have a problem with this like Ohio State offensive coordinator. I don't think that he belongs at Ohio State. He's not talented enough to be there. They went cheap on an offensive coordinator with all the money that they have. That was weird for me. And I don't like backing freshman quarterbacks on the road on their first real tough environment, especially in a highlight spotlight game like this. But that being said, I mean, I don't think Washington has too many NFL players on their roster compared to Ohio State. So if it gets down to 7, I'm likely to get involved.
Got it. And then I know people were asking me about my best bet for week 5.
A lot of people contacted me and asked me if I could give it to them early. And please, John.
No, I want to make the people wait,
Please let the masses know.
Because, you choose to do with it what you will. All right. But I was taught as a kid, listen to what your coaches tell you, right? You do what the coach says. And I know you're going to be covered up here, Eddie. I apologize for this.
It's okay.
But Lane Kiffin, the Ole Miss football coach, said to take the over. He tweeted that a couple of nights ago, and the total right now is 56. I'm going to play over 56 here at the worst possible number. But I'm going to say this, regardless of the fact that Lane Kiffin told me to take this and the number is 56, which is obviously the peak right now, I do think Ole Miss is just an over. You dance with Ole Miss, you're going to get into a shootout, like it or not. I just think defensively, I mean, they made Kentucky look like a really good offensive outfit in that game. You had a couple of turnovers that helped in the first half from Simmons in Ole Miss territory, but like that will happen as well. I think this backup quarterback Chambliss is a dynamo, but he's bound to make some mistakes.
Sure.
And I think to your point about LSU, I mean, so what? They held Florida to 10 points. Everybody's holding Florida to 10 points. That's not Long Island, right? Clemson, again, we're learning more about these teams that it's probably more about Clemson and Florida than it is about LSU. And LSU still does have Nussmeier, right? Like they still do have a top 5 NFL draft pick under center. I don't think they're uncomfortable at all playing in a game in the 30s whatsoever. So I think that's what you're going to get. I'm going to listen to Coach Kiffin, and we're going to take the over here on the RAS College Football Show in Week 5. Eddie, man, it's always good to see your face.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great to see you guys. Great to be back.
And real quick, housekeeping note, we're going to be back later tonight, 6 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock Pacific, for another Hold the Line release show. So make sure you guys keep it locked for that. Eddie, best of luck this weekend, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great guys.